is this going to be a common theme when it comes to the NFL? And I'm not just talking about once a month or we're just dealing with a specific player or a specific type of injury. I am talking about, will we start seeing these catastrophic injuries that will change the course of a person's life on a weekly basis? Damar Hamlin, safety for the Buffalo Bills, in a blink of an eye, his life changed. Now, I'm not trying to tell you what exactly happened because here are the facts when it comes to that. These are the facts. Cardiac arrest. His heart stopped beating. They revamped his heartbeat on the field, but it took up to, I believe it was very close to 10 minutes to do so. And we do know that anything past 3 minutes, you're going to have very, very bad complications and very, very, very bad implications after that 3 minute mark. What we do know about Mr. Hamlin, that is, he is in the hospital. He is sedated. He is not breathing on his own. He is having a breathing tube stuffed. It was put down his throat so he would be able to breathe. So he's not able to breathe on his own. He is sedated. His heart rhythm is back to normal, but again, he is sedated. If he wakes, what will be the outcome? This is something that we all need to stop and pay attention to because I hope we all in the United States of America are actually paying attention to this injury because just like the Tua Tagovailoa injury when he had the concussions, and there was more to that and how it came to be as it is because that story is still being told. I hope again someone tells this man his career is over. He needs to stop playing for Tua Tagovailoa. Damar Hamlin, on the other hand, his career is done. No one is going to have to tell him that he should stop playing because that decision has already been made for him. Unless some miraculous just some miraculous thing happens and he's able to go back to doing what he is doing, but that is very highly unlikely. So, what am I talking about? That there's more to this injury that meets the eye. Welcome, everybody. This is The Island, and I am your host, Alvis Samuel. And as you know, this is exactly what we are talking about. And this injury from Damar Hamlin is something, like I said, everybody needs to be paying attention to because you are talking about one of the some of the best athletes, if not the best athletes in the entire world overall. Speed, agility, strength, brains. These guys have it all in the NFL. They have it all. These are the top, these are the cream of the crop when it comes to athleticism. It is the NFL athletes, especially defensive backs. This man was a safety. So it's not like this guy was unhealthy. It wasn't like he was just out there just he what already was doing unhealthy things. No, because if you know anything about protocols and or physicals and testing that these guys have to take before they step out on the field, they go through a gauntlet of stuff just to prove that they are healthy enough to play. So there's no, in my mind at least, there is no way on this planet that a guy is tackling another person and he gets up, loses conscious, his heart stops beating, and next thing they know, they're doing CPR because he has cardiac arrest. This does not happen. Now, if you've been keeping up with football in general, just in general, this isn't the first time it's happened. It's not. Now, before I go on, because I know there's a lot of people who are going to get upset if I don't say this, Happy New Year. You can hear the joy in that because Anyone who knows me knows that I truly do not care at all. And I mean, I don't really care at all for holidays. I just don't. It's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. I don't care for them. Why? It's not that I don't enjoy, spending time with loved ones and friends and family. It's not that stuff. It's the simple fact that at least in the United States, every single holiday comes down to the same junk, the same crap. Spend all and everything you have because that is how you can get a smile, can find some joy. And oh, by the way, everyone who knows who's have been listening to all these conversations, these episodes, know I love that saying. Oh, by the way, let's get drunk while we're at it too. Alcohol. Spend all your money, wake up, sober up, and you realize you're broke. That is basically how every single holiday for in the United States. That's basically how they all go. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's for a different debate. But anyways, happy holidays, blah 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 blah. Now let's get to something that actually matters. The NFL and this injury with Damar Hamlin and the Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals. This is not anyone's fault, so do not get me wrong. This is not a trainer or a doctor or anyone's fault. At least those who are working or playing in the NFL. Kinda. And I throw that kinda out there just because if you dive deep into it, and if what I'm about to say is the truth, oh man, there is something coming to the NFL and it is going to shut it down. And I don't mean just for a couple of weeks, I mean forever. That is how bad this injury could actually be. Because this is not a common injury in the NFL. You don't hear about cardiac arrest in the NFL, in football in general. But like I said before I went on my tangent about the holidays, this injury, just for football in general, from high school on up, there's been these heart issue injuries. One moment, these athletes, very healthy on all type of levels, they are practicing or just walking, just putting on their helmet, and then the next thing everyone knows that's around them that sees these athletes, they pass out, they lose consciousness, and that's it. What is causing this? Now, if you go with what you're being told right now, and this is the fact, yes, a hit was made, and it would look like a plunge to the chest area, and that's what caused it. But you're also talking about athletes who have gone through this their entire lives. It's not like this is the first time this man stepped on a football field and said, I want to play some football today. And the Buffalo Bills are like, yeah, let's go out there and play some football with this guy who's never played. No, this man has played football his entire life, from adolescence more than likely, all the way up until now that he's 24 in the pros. So what caused this? Because let's just go on average. The average skilled position athlete, and the reason I said skilled position, because if I throw in the big guys in between the trenches, it's going to bring that average down. So the average skilled position athlete in the NFL runs about 20 miles per hour. I say 19 to 20 miles per hour. And let's just throw in a shoulder thrust. So if a guy gets hit in the chest with someone's shoulder, let's bump that up maybe 5 to 10 more miles an hour, and you got 30. That can do some damage. However, it's never done this, ever, in the NFL. See, this type of injury, when someone gets hit in the chest and it is, and that person who gets hit in the chest falls into cardiac arrest, this is more of a baseball injury. Somebody playing baseball. Why? Not because another person hit them or tackled them. It's because of a ball that is coming at them over 90 miles an hour, either by the pitcher or the ball being hit by the batter, and that ball drills them right in the chest. So there's a big speed difference there. Something well over 90 miles an hour hitting an athlete in the chest, and then your routine play, your routine tackle, and he gets, I don't want to say tapped, but basically he gets tapped in the chest by the shoulder pad of the wide receiver that he tackled. Nothing violent about the play. However, the outcome ended very tragically, horrific. So what really is going on? There will be a lot of speculations, and that is exactly what I'm about to do. I don't like doing speculation. However, like I said, there's been something going on just all around football and every top and on every top type of level. That is high school, college, collegiate, pro, you name it. It's happening. It's been happening. And it's been happening this year. I know we're now in 2023, but I'm talking about 2022 and now into 2023. This injury has been happening where, like I said earlier, one moment this athlete is walking, the next moment they're unconscious. So what is truly happening to these athletes? That is the real question. And will we start seeing this more and more often in the NFL? And if so, I'm telling you right now, somebody is going to be in a lot of trouble, because then they're going to have to find what is going on. What have all of these athletes, what have they all done, and what do they all have in common outside of just playing this one sport? What do they have in common? And we're about to find out. That's if more of these type of injuries start happening. Now, if you've been keeping up with the news of any sort, especially when the NFL basically, they technically didn't mandate it, but they mandated it last year, I believe the 2020 season, so they can all play some football. This vaccine, everybody must get the vaccine. If you start going through everything, that might be the common thing. And if this, I'm not saying it is. Like I said, I'm going to speculate right now. If this vaccine has anything to do with this, hear me now. We are going to see now Damar Hamlin is just the beginning of it. And we're going to see athletes falling out in the next 2 years, max 2 years. The rest of this year, next year's season, and it's going to be a problem, obviously. That's if these COVID vaccines have anything to do with this cardiac arrest. Now, right now, no one's going to go that far. I will, because this is what we do on the island. We will go that far. And if we start seeing this in the NFL, basically routine things for the NFL, routine plays, and these athletes just start falling out, losing conscious, when will you be next? Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody or do this fear mongering, but I'm just telling everybody that, again, if these COVID vaccinations have anything to do with this, with Damar Hamlin, there's going to be more on the way. I'm just saying that for everybody, stating that now there will be more on the way. Now, if this is just some freak accident that happens once every blue moon, basically, because I do remember back in 1997, a player for the Detroit Lions had a massive injury, who also stopped breathing due to a spinal cord injury. I remember that back in 1997. I was about 10 years old. I actually was a Lions fan back then, only because of Barry Sanders. I'm just going to say that. But I actually do remember that injury. And then if you go back even further, way before I was born, I believe it was 1971 in the NFL, there was an NFL player who actually died on the field. And even more recently, the I believe it was not Shire Alexander. It was, I believe it was Shazier Alexander. Yeah, I believe it was the Steelers linebacker who also had his injury. So these injuries do happen, but they are not as common. They are once in a blue moon. Basically, almost one every half generation type of injuries that have happened. However, like I said, if we start seeing this on a more of a weekly basis in the NFL, where people are just falling out due to routine tackles and then they fall into cardiac arrest, then there needs to be an investigation, and somebody needs to check these players' rhythm of the heart, basically, and see if there's any type of correlation that deals with the vaccine. Now, that's if we start seeing more of this. Now, this wasn't going to be my topic today, so I don't want to keep going into this because this is going to be for lack of a better phrase, this is a far gone conclusion. There's still things that will be coming out, and people will be finding the real truth on this. I'm just throwing that little nugget out there only because these are the cream of the crop type of athletes, and they are healthy. So a routine play should have never done this. I'm just putting that out there. These guys aren't your just normal 24, 25, 26, even 30-year-olds. Heck, even look at Tom Brady. Man's almost 50. These aren't your normal type of dudes out there. These guys are freakishly strong, fast. They can take a hit, all of them, even the kickers. Just throwing that one out there. So, what do I really want to talk about today? Well, it's something that I personally have never heard. And it kind of gets tied into the Damar Hamlin thing because it's an injury that's never been seen. Just like this topic. It's a topic that no one ever has really talked about. But yet, it needs to be. And it should have already been talked about. We need to find the truth, like I said with Damar Hamlin. We need to find the truth in this. And I'm about to start peeling back layers this year. This new year of 2023, I'm going to peel back layers. And each layer that I peel back in every episode that I do will make somebody, if not everybody, angry in some shape or form, even myself, because I even say things that at the time in my thought pattern, my thought process, I may not like, but I still have to say it and I still have to come about it because that is my job for me to do. I have to talk about these things. So what exactly am I talking about? I'm talking about a characteristic, and I'm not going to bring this person's name up right now, nor what this person is called. But I'm going to hopefully, before I end this next episode, or this next series, I should say, hopefully everybody will figure out who and what I'm talking about. So right now, I'm going to talk about the characteristics of this person. And boy, oh boy, these are characteristics. The ones that I will mention, you can find and look it up for yourself. But these characteristics that I will mention are never talked about. Why is that? I can't answer that one. My brain screams conspiracy theories, all that junk for some reason. However, the pattern on where we are headed and where we are going, we have to know these characteristics and the pattern before it all happens. So, characteristic number one. This is the first. And this one does not, and I repeat, this one does not actually deal with this person and who they are. However, this has to come about. It has to come about because until then, until this happens, and it's not really a characteristic, it's more like a event per se. Because without this event, this person will never come about. So let's dive right into this one. This is all I'm going to talk about today. Will be this one specific event and what it goes into. So, what is this event? The best way I can tell you this event is by a story. Here is this story. One day, there is a man, and yes, a man. For all those out there who are gender whatever, know that I only speak in, male and female. Just know that there's no other thing I'm going to say. But yes, this is a man. This man is a ruler. And this ruler, people have some sort, a little bit of fear of this ruler. Not because of him per se, but because of what he embodies and what he controls. This ruler will be caught up in a battle, in a war. This war will be taking place. It will be happening. It will be going and people will be dying. I don't know who this ruler is. I don't know where this war is going to take place. But just for this story, this ruler is in this war with his military, his warriors of might. They're going out there and he is fighting this war. He is out there with his military, overseeing it, making sure everything is going according to plan. And then all of a sudden, back home in his home nation, his home kingdom, rumbling starts going on. The citizens of the nation, the citizens of the kingdom, they start to get restless themselves. Things back home is not going to plan. So this ruler has to come back home. And when he comes back home, he realizes something. I need to bring my military back home because there is war amongst the citizens. The citizens are not happy. And they are trying to take over a civil war per se. And yes, this civil war happens. So now this ruler is trying to put things together back in its right spot. I'm in a war, and now I'm in a second war, a civil war in my own nation. And I have to get the people back under control. But then all of a sudden, this ruler is murdered. He is killed. They killed this guy. And everything goes crazy everywhere. Nobody knows what to do. Everybody's freaking out. The ruler is dead. The king himself is dead. He is dead, they scream. Who will take over? You see, that's where this story starts to take a turn. It's not the end of the story, but I'm going to stop it right there. Because that part, that specific part of the story is the beginning, the very beginning of something that is going to take place in this nation, in this kingdom. That war that eventually he had to stop fighting and come back home to fight a civil war that eventually caused his death. That nation is about to give birth to something truly just downright diabolical. Yes, these are future events. These are future events. So understand what I'm saying and where this story is leading to. Because my next episode, I will go into the next step of the story. Because what happens next will blow everybody's mind. But let me go back and tell you why the people in this nation are getting restless, why they are getting angry, why they want a new thing, because everything is going to shambles. People are dying back home while this ruler is fighting a war that more than likely should have never been in. People are dying back home. Things are going insane. People are falling out in the street. People are being robbed. People are being killed. The police and justice system is failing everyone miserably. It's failing everywhere. But yet, this ruler is off fighting a war he should never be in. And it's causing issues back home. The borders are no longer safe. People are running across the borders, destroying towns. Money is being spent that should not have been spent. Disease is going across this nation. Children, the babies, the ones that we love and adore. And the reason I say it that way is because does this nation truly love and adore their little ones? When there was something that was pressing on this nation that caused the hand of God itself to be lifted off this nation, and God himself said, let it pour. You want death? You have it. This is going on in this nation while the ruler is fighting a war that he should have not have ever been in. And eventually he realizes he has to come back home. He has to fix this problem, but yet that problem becomes his tomb, his casket, his grave. That is the first sign, the first major event that it should click in their heads. Those who know will know what I'm talking about. Those who don't, keep listening, because this story just keeps getting that much more interesting. Again, everybody, thank you for listening to The Island. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sending me all the messages and all that good stuff. I like reading them. Notice I said I don't love reading them because some of y'all are just out there, try to rein y'all back in every now and then, but it's all right. But again, thank you for listening to The Island. And this story will continue in the next episode on The Island. I am your host, Alvis Samuel. And again, to everyone out there, happy holidays and happy new year, all of that good junk. Hope y'all were all safe out there. And again, when it comes to Damar Hamlin, and even not just him, but those all around the world when something tragically has happened to them, give them your prayers that God's will manifest. And notice I said God's will manifest, not just for healing, because it might not be his will, but to bring something to light. Keep that in mind. So prayers, give your prayers to Mr. Hamlin and his family, his mother, because his mother was out there at that game and saw the whole thing. I could only imagine how his mother felt seeing this, running down to the field, jumping in that ambulance with her son, who's only 24, who was living his dream, who might not ever wake up again. So prayers to that family and to him. May God's will be manifested. And to everybody else, be safe out there. There's something brewing in the air. Don't breathe it. I'm just letting you know. I am your host, Alvis Samuel, and this is The Island Podcast.